What's up, y'all? This is your boy Eddie Jackson. Welcome back to the Drop That Podcast. Before we get into wrestling talk, I want to give a shout out. This episode is brought to you by Laidback TV. Over 10,000 channels, movies on demand, every sports channel, multiple HBOs, and I do mean fucking all of them. Multiple languages, and I do mean all of them. Only $25 a month. It's like having a network and a streaming service all right in the palm of your hand. You can have it on your iPhones on Apple Store or on your Androids at the Play Store, okay? And your Fire Stick, so you can have it right at home on a fucking flat screen TV, okay? Check them out on laidbacktv.com, and you can have all your questions answered directly. If that website for the information does not suffice, go on their Instagram on official_laidbacktv. So now, let's get into some fucking wrestling talk, because we got a lot to adjust to. Whoa! Holy shit, guys. So, this was a special event. I needed a day to digest it. It was the Clash in Paris, okay? Went down in Paris, France. It was the final PLE, main PLE that's going to be on Peacock. Their next PLE will be on ESPN. Yep. And I'm talking about September 20th. That rumored PLE that we all thought was possibly going to be Bad Blood, it's going to be WrestlePalooza, okay? It's going to be on ESPN in Indianapolis, okay? But let's get into it, all right? We're going to rate the matches. It was 6 matches all together, okay? We're also going to give the entrance of the night, the ring gear of the night, the MVPs of the night, and the match of the night. So, let's get into the shits, all right? So we had our first opening match, and it was the OTC, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns taking on the Tribal Thief, Bronson Reed. Believe it or not, I rated this match at 3.5 stars, okay? 3.5 stars. Let me see. The reason why it was a slow start, you know what I mean? I actually thought this match was going to be a little bit more into it, but apparently took on to a slow start. I don't know. It just seemed a little like it didn't need to be that. I mean, I feel like the match that probably needed to be a part of this situation was maybe Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker. But you know, shout out to Bronson Reed. He's getting the attention that he definitely deserves. I do have to say that it didn't make any sense for Roman to win the match. I understand he got the pinfall on him at WrestleMania with Seth Rollins, but it didn't make sense if you're actually going to be written off TV so you can go film Street Fighter. It didn't make any sense, you know, because that the result was basically inevitable. They were going to spear him into fucking hell. They were going to tsunami him deeper down into hell. And it was gonna be, you know, an ambush anyway. So what was the difference of him winning? Maybe because it makes sense for Roman to win so he can actually put in the guillotine on Paul Heyman, which was a nice touch. But I don't know, it just seemed a little disconnected. But I still rated that match at 3.5. So shout out to Roman, shout out to Bronson, and shout out to Braun. He was still a part of the match in some capacity. Second match was the Wyatt Six versus the Street Profits for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Out of 5 stars, I gave this motherfucker a 2. Put me nearly to sleep. I don't know why. It just didn't make sense. Not to mention, you're giving signs that we might finally split the Street Profits. Personally, I think they're probably a year or two late. You know, when they had the United States Championship in the Elimination Chamber, that weird shit where the U.S. title was going to be possibly as a cash-in for Money in the Bank instead of a world title. And then when it was on the line at an Elimination Chamber, I believe it was, you could say it was 2 years ago. Because I believe it was the result of that was Austin Theory, and he went on to WrestleMania to defeat John Cena, retaining the U.S. belt. Make no sense. I think that was the time to split the Street Profits, because Montez Ford actually looked like he was on a tear, basically. And I think it's about time. I want to see what the Street Profits' potential could possibly be. But the Wyatt Six pulled off the win, and they retained the tag titles. Next match was the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch defending against Nikki Bella. Surprise, surprise. I rated that bitch a 2 out of 5. Yeah, there was just so much disconnect. I mean, Nikki Bella jumped on the second rope and went for a goddamn spinning kick, and basically it was like she was in California doing that kick, and Becky was all the way in New Jersey. It was fucking weird. But, you know, my pick actually won. Becky Lynch retained the Intercontinental title. Good. I didn't really like this feud anyway. It made no sense. I think Becky buried her in the promos, you know, attacking the relationship status of her. You know, it just didn't make sense. I mean, it should have been a different dance partner in there. Kind of like Laura Valkyria, but, you know, obviously they did that already at SummerSlam and so forth. Next match was Rusev versus Sheamus. I have no idea what the fuck this match was called. Who gives a shit? It was the third match between, I think it was the fourth match, because I think the third one was no contest. I rated this a 4. I know out there Dave Meltzer rated it an all-time 5 match. Personally, I love the trilogy with Rusev and Sheamus. I think match 2 was a 5-star. Not match 1, not match 3. So I gave it a 4. Rusev got the win. Good for him. I want to see what else he can do. You know what I'm saying? We know it was easy to debut after WrestleMania, attack the little guys, attack the guys who are not really in the main event picture, get your name back in there. I think it was great to boost his name up a little bit more by you know, colliding with an old friend in Sheamus. You know, they got a lot of history together. Now it's like, let's see what you could do next. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're on Monday Night Raw. What can you do next? You know what I'm saying? Like, can't go in the world title picture. You can't go in the Intercontinental title picture. It just looks a little weird because they're both held by heels. So what do you do next is the question mark. So I rated that a 4. Next match, it was John Cena versus Logan Paul. Say what you want. A lot of people want to say Logan Paul is not a good wrestler, this, and that. I'm like, man, y'all motherfuckers don't know shit. Like, don't get me wrong. When Logan came into the picture, you know, years back at WrestleMania, being Miz's tag partner against Dom and Rey Mysterio, I didn't like it. It was like CM Punk going into the UFC. It made no fucking sense. You know, but then I started doing my research a little bit on Logan Paul. But that was after his SummerSlam match with The Miz. And I saw he had a wrestling background. You know what I'm saying? And it goes deep. As far as collegiate wrestling goes, it's like we got how do we put it? It's like we got a almost Kurt Angle. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by almost is that they both were collegiate wrestlers back in the day, but, you know, Logan went the YouTube influencer way. Kurt Angle went the Olympic way. But getting into the WWE, they both picked it up fast. And I mean fast. And, you know, and Logan, by the time he was in his third match, he was getting an undisputed WWE Championship match against Roman Reigns at the time. And helped trained by Shawn Michaels, one of the GOATs. And even though he lost, he fucking showed why he belongs here. And I would honestly, against John Cena, was a very entertaining match. I gave it a 4.5 stars out of 5. Great. I think it was just a little bit of a slow start, but they sure as hell picked it up, you know, all the way to the finish. Great match. They did awesome. Cena got the win. Now we got to see where Cena goes from here. Apparently he has 8 dates left. First one coming up at SmackDown in Chicago. I believe he's going to be at WrestlePalooza. I believe he's going to be at Survivor Series. And he's got his final... WrestlePalooza. I believe he might be going to Wrestle. I gotta check that schedule again. But he might be at WrestlePalooza. He's definitely going to be in Perth for Crown Jewel. He's definitely going to be at Survivor Series, and he's definitely going to be in December. I believe it's going to be his retirement match at Saturday Night's Main Event in Massachusetts somewhere, probably Boston, most likely. But shout out to Logan, shout out to John. Personally, for all you fucking Logan Paul haters, I don't worry about the influencer Logan Paul. I worry about the wrestler Logan Paul. And Logan is actually, for a big fucking athletic guy, he really does move like a luchador. Gotta give him credit. I gotta give him credit. You motherfuckers don't know shit about wrestling, so just shut it. But shout out to John, shout out to Logan. And in the main event, it was a fatal 4-way match. Seth freaking Rollins defending the World Heavyweight title against main event Jey Uso, LA Knight, and the best in the world, CM Punk. Honestly, I felt Seth was going to win. They made it seem like Jey could probably pull it off. LA Knight would have been a holy hell moment. He pulled it off. And CM Punk was a long shot, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? He's got that frustration with Seth and everything. So, I rated this match a 4.5. Seth got the win. With the help, since Paul Heyman's in the hospital. Braun and Bronson Reed. Banned from the arena. Who do you got? We got our 4th member. And that's the Women's Intercontinental Champion, the wife of Seth freaking Rollins, Becky Lynch, the man. Fucking low blows CM Punk when CM Punk possibly had the win. Seth freaking Rollins retains. And it's an interesting direction. And before we continue this, let's award everybody who did great this night. Entrance of the night, I give it to Roman Reigns, the Wyatt Six, Becky Lynch, John Cena, main event Jey Uso, and Seth freaking Rollins. Ring gear of the night, I give it to Roman Reigns, Rusev, John Cena, LA Knight, Seth freaking Rollins, and CM Punk. MVPs of the night, pretty much Division got this one. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Becky Lynch. And match of the night, I'm going to give it to John Cena and Logan Paul. Congratulations to everyone. Now this gives us right into Monday Night Raw. Okay? Because a lot of shit continued. And we'll continue it from where we left off with the main event. Seth beating CM Punk with the help of his wife. So Punk been looking for Seth the entire night. Waiting for him. Popping out. Nothing. Gets informed by the GM of Raw, Adam Pearce. Seth's in the building. Calls him out. Man to man. And who comes out? The man. Becky Lynch. Holy fuck. Becky Lynch got a lot of shit off her chest. Got tired of them yelling CM Punk during her matches and so forth. Cool. Makes sense. I can see why she could be mad. But they keep yelling out AJ Lee, the wife of CM Punk. And she's addressing it. She's like, Joe, she does not work here. I feel like they're teasing us. And they're throwing us on a limb. Because Seth showed up. He didn't even want to get in the ring. He stayed out in the aisle. And then what happens? Becky slaps the shit out of Punk over and over and over again. Pushes him. All of that. And the last and final words of Punk said, I'm going to make Seth Rollins regret cashing in on me. And you're going to regret putting your hands on me. Now, I want you guys to think about this one, because Rhea Ripley is kind of out of the picture of the women's world title picture, which we'll get to. And she's feuding with Asuka. Right? But before Punk was informed that Seth's in the building, he was found talking with Rhea Ripley. Now, this is ingenious of creative, right? Because the creative team is throwing us on a limb. The fans want AJ Lee. I'm sure Punk wants AJ Lee. Punk stated in interviews, like, AJ Lee doesn't want to come back. She's comfortable where she is. We don't know this because AJ doesn't talk about it. But it's like with everything going on with Rhea, she's wants to earn her spot back in the world title picture. She's getting into it with Asuka. She still has Io Sky as a friend, but the woman she hasn't beaten that she needs to beat. But then she could be possibly thrown in this situation with Punk, Seth, and Becky. Possibly could happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's great because you can't do kayfabe nowadays because of social media and all that shit, right? So it gets a little bit weird. Not weird, I'm sorry. That's wrong choice of words. It gets a little confusing. And I love it. Because if the whole goal is, right, to make an intergender tag team match at WrestlePalooza, with one corner being Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, and the other corner being CM Punk and enter name, possibly, how you gonna feel if it's Rhea Ripley? You know what I'm saying? Rhea Ripley will be happy to, for one night only, help out Punk. Maybe. Or she would love to get her hands on Becky, because last year at WrestleMania 40, that was the opening match. Becky versus Rhea for the Women's World Title. Maybe, and if you can pin the Women's Intercontinental Champion, maybe you get an Intercontinental title shot, or maybe that's a good shot to get a World Title shot. Who knows? But what if in that corner with Punk is the returning AJ Lee? You never know. I think it will be bigger. I think they got the money to talk AJ into coming back. I think this was probably a direction even way before Clash in Paris, that they can get her into ring shape. And it's not like she wasn't in shape. I think she's in better body shape now. I mean, she looks jacked now than she was in the ring back in the days as Divas champion. And not to mention that TV show from Stars called Heels. You see Punk and AJ in the ring training. So it's not like she wasn't in shape to begin with. So who knows? We still got 2 weeks. Let's see how this goes. Speaking of the Women's World Title picture and WrestlePalooza picture, first match is already scheduled. Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Title. The vacant Women's World Title due to Naomi announcing her pregnancy. Congrats to her and Big Jim. And now we got what we're looking for. Now, are we happy? Because, night after WrestleMania 41, we got Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. We did get that. But we didn't get a winner. So is this, finishing up the final touches of this? Or are we leaning into a way where the Kabuki Warriors, the Kabuki Warriors cost Io Sky the world title? You know what I'm saying? Getting the belt back. And then we got a new champion in Stephanie Vaquer. We could be seeing that. I'm good with this. I feel like the promo situation, and we'll get to that, is a little weak. How you do that when you got Io Sky, who's got broken English, and then you got Stephanie Vaquer, who's got broken English, but they're great in the ring. It's just a little weird, but whatever. We'll get to that. But I'm dope for this match. It's just sad we didn't get a Bayley announcement or a fucking Bianca Belair announcement. I guess we're waiting. But speaking of awkwardness, Asuka and Io being awkward with their promos. I swear to Christ, it's the timing. It's a little weird. It's a little fucking weird. You know what I mean? When you're seeing Rhea and Asuka in each other's face, and it's like Rhea is waiting for Asuka to respond, but there's so much dead air in between. We gotta get better. Asuka, you've been doing this for years. Io, you've been doing this for years. We gotta get better. You know what I'm saying? If there's some rehearsal that needs to be done, let's get it done. Shit needs to get done. Moving on from that, AJ Styles loses his match against Dirty Dom Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship, and this is his final year. You know what I'm saying? They loved him at WrestleMania. They loved him at SummerSlam. And they loved him the night after Clash in Paris. But he's just losing over and over again. Is this the final year that AJ wants? I don't know. It's a little bit much for me. But let's see. Maybe it gets better for him at WrestlePalooza. I mean, probably no more championships that need to be talked about for him. You know what I mean? Like, he can't get into the world title picture. He can't even beat Dom for the Intercontinental title unless they're saving that for either Perth or fucking WrestlePalooza. I mean, Dirty Dom's got a shot at the AAA Mega Championship soon in Vegas, which I think he's going to pull off and win that, and he's going to be a double champion. But moving on, Jey Uso ends up getting jumped again by the Vision. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and Jimmy comes in to help. Jimmy's over there at SmackDown dealing with the MFTs, you know, having the back of Jacob Fatu and Sami Zayn. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a Usos reunion with Jimmy and Jay, but it's like, I don't know, it's just little, it's like, what do we need a draft? Why do we need rosters on SmackDown and Raw if we're just going against them? I don't get it, but whatever, I'm all for it. If we could get Divisions, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed teaming up against Jimmy and Jey Uso at WrestlePalooza, love it. Great tag team match. They just need to start putting Braun and Bronson over because they just keep losing. I mean, they won on Raw, but still. It's the thought that counts, though. But that's all we got for Wrestling Talk. I know we had a lot to digest. So, I'm your boy, D Jackson. So drop that podcast. Make sure y'all subscribe, like the page. You already know what the fuck to do. Leave your comments if you agree to disagree, motherfucker. It's all good. Y'all be safe. Peace.